Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Snack. We do have live tournament action coming at you right now. It is going to be on MLG's Metalopolis, DuH, taking on Smorty. Now, Smorty, I do believe, let me just shoot out here to the website real quick and take a look. Smorty is, I believe he's a master, but I want to be for sure. Yes, he indeed is a master. DuH is a diamond player? Or platinum, I can't remember. He is platinum. Cool. So we do have platinum versus master here. Now we did just see Tox Lonely take out a grandmaster on the Korean server. So our upsets in the works tonight, I do believe so. Is DuH potentially going to go for another one here? I don't know. It is going to be a PvP here. Now PvP, I always say this, and probably bear with me, but PvP, one of those matchups that you have to really have a lot of finesse in this matchup. You cannot miss your timings. You need to have good scouting. And any mistake begins to work against you in a big way. Even small mistakes can work against you in a very, very big way, very, very quickly in a PvP matchup. So I think out of all of their mirror matches, PvP is probably the most fragile. Just have to be very, very careful with your counters and your overall strategy. I mean, any mistake can really, really bungle you up. Notice that DuH getting some early scouting in. He did send out his scout here fairly early, fairly quick. And going to scout his opponent's base here, we do have Smorty cruising out across the map as well, trying to get some scouting in. Smorty is going to be our red Protoss. He is spawning up here at the 12 o'clock position. DuH is blue down here at the 6 o'clock, so it is cross positions here on Metalopolis, and Smorty going to be checking the incorrect base for just a moment, and off he goes to the correct base, I do assume here pretty quick. DuH checking in, but then backing out very quickly. I would like to see DuH sticking around just a little bit longer there to to get some scouting and want to gauge where your opponent's going. Now let's just take a look. Now Smorty did get his gas there fairly early. Looks like good timing for a potential Korean 4-gate. Or for a 3-gate robo. So if he is going for a 3-gate robo, you will see probably a second gas here in just a little bit, unless he's going to go super heavy zealot with just a couple immortals or something. But generally speaking, you do get that second gas if you're going to go for the 3-gate robo. Cybercore is on the way, and we still don't see a second gas. So my guess is at this point from Smorty, we are going to see a 4-gate. DuH has got fairly decent timings here as well. Looks like he could potentially be going for a 4-gate too. 4-gate versus 4-gate is fairly common in our PvP matchups. Do have one Zealot out on the field for DuH. Going to be chasing off that Probe Scout. We do have a Zealot out for Smorty as well. Is Chrono boosting out that Cybercore? Warp Gate Tech, both of these guys seem to have fairly solid timings. Just about the same deal here. But it does look like a 4-gate to me at this point for both players. It looks as though Smorty going to go ahead and toss down gate number 2, probably 3 and 4 here in just a moment as well. And probably going to get his here right off the bat as well. So, yep, there we go. And it is 4 gates for both players. Well, actually may not be for Smorty. Look at this. Smorty is going to grab his second gas here. Interesting. Checking his base here. Late on the gas potentially here. I'm not sure what build this is quite yet. Maybe we will figure it out here in just a moment. It could be maybe a Blink Stalker build or something like that. That could be very, very possible. I think you can get away with getting a later gas for that Blink Stalker build. But definitely a slightly later gas if you're going for like a 4-gate or a 3-gate robo. This is absolutely too late. He did take it, but is not mining it yet either, so that's a little bit interesting. But he does have a forward pylon here. Looks like he is going for a 2-gate push. Looks like that Cybercore Warp Gate Tech about to be complete, but same thing here for DuH. And DuH should have plenty of Warp Ins here to defend against a 2-gate push, so seems to be in great shape. Do you see those Warp Ins going down here fairly quickly? And here comes the attack from Smorty. Smorty going ahead and taking an expand, so it's going to be a 2-gate expand. There, he's just now starting to mine that gas, and Smorty gonna have to back out here. He did. Oh wow, good snipe there from DuH. He sniped that probe that could potentially put down that forward pylon. He needs to start scouting around to see if there's any. There is this one here. Would like to see DuH doing some scouting here, but he is going to be pushing this attack, it appears. Maybe going for this 4-gate push, and not a bad idea at this point. Now it looks like it will be scouted, this movement, because he's catching up to this Zealot. The Zealot probably going to go down. We do have, these Zealots need to get moving, as well as we need to have a probe cruising out across the map here for DuH. DuH starting to float a little bit of extra minerals here, and I don't like to see that. Looks like he is backing out here for just a moment. And if the longer he waits here, he's either going to have to take an expansion, or he's going to really run himself into the ground, potentially, because if he stays on this one base play for too long without doing any damage, this two base play is going to kick in for Smorty, and Smorty going to be in phenomenal shape. So now this second base here for Smorty about to start rolling, and we do have solid mining right now from that gas. No new tech though from Smorty. Looks like he's probably going to have 4 gates in just a moment, as DuH should be cruising out across the map here. Is a little late still, I think, on this push though. He's got to be super careful here. Now he should. He just doesn't really have an army advantage, not by very much at all. He's going to have to be very, very careful here. Looks like Smorty is going to be scouting here for just a moment, trying to figure out what's going on. I don't think he saw DuH there. He did poke in for just a moment, but these stalkers going to go up to this tower. Doesn't see anything. See if he's going to cruise out across the map. Looks like he is going to try and kill a wolf statue for just a moment, but doesn't finish the job. Here comes your first warp in for DuH. Looks like Smorty may be a little bit out of position. Some of these units going to go down very, very quickly. Nice force field there from Smorty. Absolutely going to be saving the day. Looks like these stalkers now stuck on the outside. We do have a Twilight Council going down. Some Blink should be on the way, but this Nexus probably going to get sniped here. DuH making a good, strong push here. Got to be careful. He's got to have good micro. Keep these guys in attacking position. Keep that army together. See this guy wandering off the wrong direction, going to get sniped without doing any damage. But DuH in fairly decent shape. He does get some more warp-ins here. These guys going to be joining the fight. It is more stalkers, which is exactly what he needs. Pulling probes here for Smorty, trying to hold this off, but DuH in phenomenal shape right now. Could potentially take this win down. He's got to be careful with these stalkers. Don't want to lose too many of them. He's trying to focus down his opponent's stalkers there. Pretty good stuff. It's so even right now, just so very even, and here come these Zealots into the face of these stalkers. The stalker's going to go down very, very quickly. DuH about to get held off here. I think he's got to be careful. Does get these Zealots up in his opponent's face though. That's really going to be helpful. Nice kiting there from DuH. He's got to be so careful with these stalkers. Keeping them alive is the order of the day, and if you can't keep them alive, it will cost you the game. So looks like Smorty did have to sack this base for just a little while, but it still lives on. So if he is able to hold on here, he will still be up on that 2-base play. And the longer that DuH waits here, the closer Smorty is going to be to holding this off. Let's just check the units tab. Notice that DuH is actually down 1 harvester at this point, and that's going to work against him. We do have 1 sentry here. Sentry going to be super useful, especially if they can use a good force field in this battle. So DuH's got to be super careful here to make this happen. But here he comes. He's going to be pushing this attack one more time. Zealot's going to be getting up in their faces. Force field did go down. No more force. Oh, there is 1 more force field available here on this sentry. Actually, almost 2. So there goes the Nexus, though. DuH in phenomenal shape. Notice that DuH is transitioning. Going to be taking an expand behind this, so that's good. Smart move there from DuH. We do have Blink now on the way for Smorty, and this is going to work against DuH. He can't push this attack any further, I don't think. He's going to have to transition into the mid-game. These Zealots a little bit out of position. May potentially go down here. Nope, looks like they just barely scoot out of the way. Good stuff. And DuH going to be cruising back down here for his transition, setting himself up for the mid-game. He is going to be going for his Robo play, which I think is a smart move, but that Blink stock going to be difficult to deal with if Smorty does choose to push this attack. And we did take down that pylon. DuH taking a slight extra loss there, but that's okay. That's the nature of putting down forward pylons. So all in all, units lost shows that Smorty did lose quite a bit more than his opponent, did go down to 1 base, and is now stuck on 1 base for just a bit. And in the meantime, DuH going to be probing up here fairly good. Actually, his opponent's still ahead of him. Oh, they're tied up. So very, very even economically here. But DuH now on 2 base is going to be a phenomenal position for just a little bit. But he is going to have to worry about defense here in just a moment. That Blink Stalker play going to come in. Now Smorty probably going to be abusing that Blink play to make this happen. Oh, careful DuH. You got to be careful there. Would like to see DuH get charged or something like it to deal with these Blink Stalkers as soon as he notices that tech. Needs to go ahead and have himself prepared. Do need to see some either upgrades or some kind of tech pattern here from DuH. Would like to see him go ahead and grab some Immortals. Not a bad play. Even against Blink Stalkers can be extremely useful. So here comes the attack from Smorty. Blink being utilized there and abused. Nice play, but DuH got good control of his army there. Not a bad deal. DuH in phenomenal shape still here, I think. Notice that Smorty is retaking his second base, I should say. Here comes the attack one more time. DuH sitting pretty. He does have a slight army advantage here, but this Blink going to be so pesky to deal with. But it looks as though DuH still in strong position, taking down a decent number of these Stalkers. And Smorty losing quite a few units here, actually. Probably more than he should, potentially. But DuH going to be backing out here wisely, going to be warping in, and is going to join an Immortal in those forces. This Immortal going to be super effective here for just a little bit. That makes me happy, but Smorty is backing out with those Blink Stalkers. So DuH does need to be careful and does need to be wary of the potential tech patterns that Twilight Council does present. He could see some DT, so he's got to make sure and have that detection. Notice that he did have an observer out on the field. I wonder if he mixed it in his army. Yes, there it is right there. There's his observer. Going to be kicking it. Here comes some more Blink Stalkers. Smorty in fairly decent shape, blinking out of there, doing some damage, and just blinking away. Just going to try and keep harassing his opponent, but DuH doing a great job staying mobile here. And DuH getting a Twilight Council of his own. I like it. Would like to see a Forge from one of these players, however, and see probably a +1 damage upgrade. But that's okay. I mean, these guys know what they're doing, and in a PvP that's this much back and forth, sometimes it's not worth it to go for that Forge play. But it is what it is. I guess I'm selfish. I love my upgrades. Love to see players get upgrades. It makes it a really interesting battle because the upgrades can really play a difference in PvP. But these guys going to be cruising around the high ground here. Smorty going for kind of a backdoor type attack. Looks like he may snipe this pylon here and then bail with his Blink. Observer just cruising up here to see the numbers that Smorty has in that army. Looks like we've got 3 Immortals out on the field here from DuH's Robotics. We don't have anything new, but there goes a Forge for DuH, so probably going to start an upgrade here. I think is probably a smart move, and may potentially even put down just a token cannon. Not a bad play either. Let's just check in on that unit counting station there. 38 probes for Smorty, 36 for DuH. DuH got to be careful not to get behind into the economy. He does. I would say that he's got a lead here. However, it's not humongous, so he's got to be careful. But here comes those Blink Stalkers again. It looks as though Smorty has gotten out some Archons on the field from his High Templar archive, but staying with this forward position, keeping his opponent guessing, and has to sit at his base to defend. Is really, really smart play here from Smorty. It looks like Smorty going to go for another backdoor approach potentially here, just to see what kind of damage he can do. So not a bad deal. More gateways going down here for Smorty. Smorty looking really solid. Double Archon's now going to be super good stuff. Twilight Council now working on charge. Interesting. As well as a Robo coming out for Smorty. So Smorty probably going to be going for some Immortals of his own. Let's just check in on these Blink Stalkers of Smorty. Now Smorty does have charge on the way. I think is going to be a really smart move. Blink for mobility, charge for mobility. It'll get those Zealots right up in their face, and then behind he can put a lot of Archons for the kind of a splash DPS type unit, as well as some potential Immortals, which I think would be good to mix in the army. Now notice that Smorty going ahead and taking his third. I think in great time. Smorty really controlling this game, even when he's coming from behind here. And DuH got a large force here. Looks like he's making a potential push. Not a bad time to do it. DuH does have charge of his own. I think going to be super good. Gets those Zealots right up in the face of those Blink Stalkers. And DuH, probably a smart time to go ahead and push out. We do have a forward pylon here for Smorty. Oh, DuH is backing out here. He's trying to play very defensively. I think this may even be too safe at this point. I would like to see DuH utilizing his gas here just a little bit more. He's got so much gas that he's floating, and a lot of minerals too when it comes down to it. So would like to see a little bit better resource management. He needs to get some more warp gates in. So maybe just a tip for the future. Once you're on 2 base, this is not enough unit producing structures here. Not enough. You've got to have more. And spending these resources is so imperative. So absolutely imperative. Now, we do have the +1 here for DuH. This could be a very, very nice attack, potentially. He's just going to have to worry about that splash damage of the Archons. But all in all, this could be a great attack. Lot of charge lots here for DuH, getting right up in their face. Look at all these Archons here. And Blink being used here very effectively by Smorty. But the Immortals blasting away. The Immortals going to be doing a lot of damage. All the Archons have gone down, and now Blink being used defensively here, but DuH saying, you know what, let's go straight for the kill here. Going to cruise right up into his opponent's main and going to unpower buildings, I assume. Yes, he is. Look how quickly these Immortals cut through those pylons. Beautiful stuff. Love this play from DuH. What a smart move. Notice that he is taking a third behind this, down at his third natural there. And Smorty knows that he's got to engage here, because if those Immortals are able to bleed out all those pylons, it will put him in a serious position. And DuH going to go right back to killing pylons here, I believe. Going to unpower buildings is such a smart move. Boy, these Blink Stalkers still taking so much damage from these Immortals. Looks like maybe one Immortal may go down here. He's trying to get focused down. Does go down, but still 2 Immortals on the field. DuH super effective with these units right now. And going right back to pylons. Beautiful micro from DuH at this point. Absolutely phenomenal. And we may again see another upset. Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot believe what's happening tonight. This is ridiculous, and I am absolutely proud. Both of these guys are part of ALT-Starcraft, so, I mean, friends of ALT-Starcraft in many ways. Tons and tons of fun to see this, and it looks as though DuH pushing this attack extremely well. And this is the last-ditch effort here from Smorty. If he can't hold on here, he's going to be in a lot of trouble, but it looks as though he may be able to clean out DuH's forces here. DuH going to lose the last of those last bit of forces there. This Immortal got 11 kills, holding down the fort here. Wow, he may even pick this off. Unbelievable. Now, DuH needs to counter, or needs to push this attack, re-push this attack, I should say. Make it happen, DuH. You've got to be pushing your opponent around at this point. You should have had a forward pylon, should have been reinforcing right away, but he really needs to get these units back over to his opponent's base and start pushing that attack even further. He's so far ahead at this point, he cannot allow his opponent to get back on his feet. Notice that Smorty is going to be repowering these buildings. Absolutely has to do that at this point. And Smorty, though, so far behind at this point, I think DuH, all he has to do is pull the trigger right now, and it is game. Another way to say GG. Looks like he is going to go ahead and get rid of this Observer, though. Smorty, nice move. Oh, the Observer lives. Lucky. But it's a lot of unit-producing structures here for Smorty. Notice he's going to be chrono boosting the craziness out of these guys. He's got to get up a whole bunch of units. But we should see DuH push. I really think this is a mistake, ladies and gentlemen. I always mention this, when we're in our lower league tournaments, but I do have to mention that DuH making a slight error here. He's waiting just a little bit too long to push this attack. I mean, the only reason you wait this long is if you're going to go ahead and take like 2 more bases or something. And you don't think that you can potentially take the game down in the next push. But I think that DuH should realize that this would have been an opportune time to take down the game. He did get some Archons in here, not a bad play. He's got to find ways to spend that gas. He still has so much gas. But pushing out here, he's got a very, very substantial force. And I honestly think that even at this late stage here, that DuH should be in phenomenal shape to go ahead and take this game down. Could be a GG here for Smorty. So Smorty does have a good amount of charge lots here and a good amount of Archons, but he doesn't have the upgrades that he needs. And we're going to have a forward pylon here. Looks like DuH going to go ahead and put that down, get a couple warp-ins here, and then go is the order of the day. And with that plus 2 now upgrade, I missed that while we were in that battle, but it does have that +2. And here it is, go time. Nice, a lot of charge lots here, getting right up in these guys' face. However, these Archons here doing a lot of splash damage first. Now we're doing the damage to the Archons. The Archons hopefully will fall fast enough for DuH. He's really got to keep track of those guys, but he has, oh, look at this. He's going to go for a flank attack here. Not a bad play. Look at this. He still has this army in the front pushing through, and here comes the flank attack. What a nice play there from DuH, and geez Louise, I think this is absolutely going to be GG at this point. DuH making such a strong play here. I am so very impressed. Taking down a master Protoss player here in this PvP is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, not ridiculous, but in the sense that it is impressive. How's that? And impressive is probably the word that I should have used, so wow is about all I can say. And there's the GG from Smorty. Unbelievable stuff. Upset after upset tonight. Hopefully that will continue. I'm having tons of fun with this, but thank you guys for coming out. Congrats to DuH for moving, taking that guy down. Beautiful game. Don't alt tab, ladies and gentlemen. Always alt StarCraft. We'll see you guys in just a bit.